Hey guys, how's it going? Lately I've been having a ton of fun playing Warframe, and at this point I've done pretty much everything in the game. And while I've enjoyed learning everything I can about it, it's not very new player friendly. Starting out can be really hard, not because it's overly complicated, but the game doesn't really explain anything past the basic gameplay. When I first started out, I found the amount of information pretty overwhelming. So I thought creating a series that goes over some of the basics that aren't covered by the game itself would help newer players navigate through what can be a complicated mess. Hopefully sharing what I've learned here will help you guys understand some of the more confusing aspects of Warframe. This is an idiot's guide to Warframe. Since this is the first video, I wanted to quickly go over a bunch of information that will help new players figure out some of the most prominent systems in the game. When you first start, you'll be given the choice of one of three frames: Excalibur, Volt, and Mag. Hopefully if you're watching this video you've already chosen a frame. Don't worry too much if you wanted more than one of them. You always have the opportunity to farm them later. They work kind of like starting Pokemon for Warframe. Early on, most of the gameplay is going to look very similar between the frames because you won't have any abilities or mods to upgrade them. Here you see me breaking some of the breakable containers just to pick up some of the resources that are inside. All loot in Warframe is instanced to you personally, so right now I'm playing solo in the first quest called Vor's Prize, but later on if you're playing with other people, all the loot that you see will be yours, so you're not stealing loot from anybody else and they're not stealing it from you. However, all loot will be the same for everybody, so if you pick up a mod, then it'll be the same for somebody else, and if you find some resources on the ground, they will also be the same. Resources are an important component to loot in Warframe. Early on you're going to want to pick up as many as you can because you're going to be pretty limited just starting out. But with them you'll be able to build things like additional weapons and more warframes that you're probably going to want later on. So after each mission in Warframe you will see a mission summary which shows you how much experience you gained on your weapons in Warframe as well as what items you acquired. Warframes and weapons have a level cap of 30, but there are ways that you can augment that, which are a little more complicated and I'll go into on a later video. Now in addition to your Warframe and weapon levels, there's also your account level, which is called Mastery rank. Mastery rank essentially allows you to use more powerful weapons and to unlock additional items. You get Mastery rank by leveling up Warframes and weapons, and when you reach a certain point you'll be able to take a Mastery test in which you essentially complete a unique challenge, and if you are successful then your account moves up one level. So as you can see here, I've qualified for the rank 1 mastery test, and I just need to survive 3 waves of enemies without dying. Early on these tests are pretty simple, and hopefully you won't have any issues with them. But if you do happen to fail, then there is a 24-hour lockout, so you can't retake the mastery test for another 24 hours. Time gating things like this in Warframe is pretty common. Because it's free to play, they want you to spend money on the platinum currency to expedite things. You certainly don't have to. And overall, after you've waited for a couple days for a frame to build or a day for a weapon to build, it's a really rewarding feeling. And for the purposes of these videos, this account's going to be completely free to play. So I won't be spending any real life money on the in-game premium currency called platinum. Although if you are new to the game and you're really enjoying it and you want to keep playing, I'd recommend spending maybe $20 on some platinum. Sometimes with the daily login rewards they'll give you a discount on the platinum, so you can just buy it at a discount and get enough to last you for quite a while. And if you do that, it does help support the devs and the game in general, and if you're putting a lot of time into it, I think it's worth it personally. But it's all up to you, and like I said, I'm going to be showing you how to not need to do that. You can see here I was successful in the test and I ranked up my mastery. Now let's take a look at your orbiter. This is your ship in Warframe, and when you aren't on missions it's where you're going to be spending most of your time. From it you can start new missions, buy new weapons, build new equipment, and upgrade your current weapons and Warframes. Alright, the first thing I want to go over in your orbiter is navigation, and this is essentially where you find all your new missions. As you can see here, I have a few unlocked, like Mantle and Gaia. You can tell because they're the white diamonds compared to the black diamonds, which signify that they are not unlocked yet. And in order to unlock a new mission, you have to complete the previous. So if I want to go on the Plains of Eidolon, I have to complete Cetus. And if Gaia was locked, then I would have to complete the Mantle in order to unlock Gaia and Cambria and so on. Currently, my next one is going to be the Venus Junction. And if you look up to the right hand corner, you can see I have a quest for this. If I click on that, it'll bring it up in game. There's also a tab called Void Fissures right now. Early game, you don't want to worry about this, but later on, you're going to be doing a lot of these. There's also an option to change your matchmaking status. So right now, I have it set to public, but I could go friends only or solo if I wanted to play by myself. And if you're looking for people to play with, then you can just hit T and look at the 3 different chat options. Currently, there's region, recruiting, and trade. Region chat is just the general chat of Warframe. Recruiting is for people hosting and looking for missions. Most of this is going to be for later game options, but it's good to know that it exists. Trade chat is all people selling things and trading things with each other. Overall, it's pretty cancerous. I would suggest avoiding this until you know exactly what you're looking for. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is the market. This is where you can buy all your weapons and blueprints. So you see here, there's a weapons tab in the drop-down menu, and it'll show all the weapons that I have available to me currently. Some of these are going to be mastery locked because I'm only mastery rank 1. So if I rank up to rank 2, I'll have the Ak Bronco unlocked, and then 3, Ak and Brunt. But overall, there's enough weapons in here to last me for quite a while if I were to purchase and rank them up. When you're looking for weapons, it's important to hit the Blueprints Only button, because some of these can only be purchased for Platinum initially. So the Blueprints Only button ensures that you're going to find a weapon that you don't need to pay for. But let's say I wanted to buy the regular Bronco. I could purchase this for 15,000 credits and then build it over the course of 12 hours for the required material cost. Now if you look at the Warframes, you'll see that I can buy all the blueprints for these Warframes. If I click on someone like Titania, I can purchase her blueprint for 35,000 credits. But I also need the different components. Most Warframe components drop off bosses known as assassination targets or by completing quests, and I'll go over this in a later video. Next thing I want to talk about is the Codex. This is essentially where you accept quests. As you can see here, I've completed Vor's Prize. The next quest, Saya's Vigil, I haven't completed the prerequisites for, but once I do, I can click on this and accept the quest. Codex also has a couple other functions that serve to teach you about new game mechanics. Overall, I'd say most of these are pretty poorly done. The best information is going to come from the Warframe wiki, not this. And while you're welcome to look through these, most of the information is pretty limited, and I'd recommend just using the Warframe wiki instead of looking through the Codex. If you come down the ramp, to your right is the Foundry. This is where you can build items you have blueprints for. So as you can see here, I have a Taxon blueprint, as well as the required resources to build the item. If I click on this, it'll start building. And this item takes 24 hours to build. Some items take less, some items take more, it depends on the item. As you can see here, I can rush it for 30 platinum. Never do this. It's never worth it. So next up is the mod bench. As you can see, I have a few mods. Most of these are from the first quest, Vor's Prize, and you can tell because they're damaged. All the damaged mods are just worse versions of normal mods. So you can see here I have Vitality, which is damaged and it's 30% health, where normal Vitality will give you 40% health at base. And they also have higher upgrade levels, and what I mean by that is if you click on a mod and you go to Fusion, you'll be able to rank them up in order to increase. So this went from 30 to 120. And if I were to pick the regular Vitality and fuse it, I can go up to rank 10, which will put it at 440 health, which is a lot more. Early on, if you really need them, you can use some of these damaged mods, but I'd recommend just using the regular versions instead if you have them, because it does require a little bit of investment to. As you can see, it's going to require 70 endo and 3,000 credits to level this up. The last machine is called the Arsenal, and this is where you can equip and upgrade your Warframes. So you see I have Excalibur here. I can equip a new Warframe if I had one. You can also buy these for platinum outright if you want to, but that it does require a little bit of money if you want to do that immediately. Same goes for weapons, so I have my Mark 1 Bratton equipped right now. I could equip my other Bratton, which I bought for credits on the marketplace. The other options I have are all platinum or mastery ranked. The arsenal also allows you to upgrade your warframes and weapons. So as you see here, I have a rank 8 Excalibur. If I hit upgrade, it'll bring up Excalibur's mod slots. You can see that Excalibur has a total of 8 capacity. This is because it's a rank 8 warframe. If I unequip the Vitality, you'll see it goes to 8 out of 8. What is capacity? Capacity essentially limits the number of mods you can equip. So as you see here, Vitality has a capacity of 2. When I equip it, my capacity is reduced by 2. If I were to put it in the slot that has the same symbol, it gets halved. So now my capacity is only reduced by 1. However, if I were to put it in a slot that has the wrong symbol, it would increase the cost. So now you see it costs 3 instead of the base 2. When upgrading your warframes and weapons early on, it's probably easier to go down to actions and hit auto install. I normally would not recommend this for any kind of player with experience. However, early on it might be helpful for a new player just learning the mod system. Same principles apply to weapons. So this Bratton is unranked. When I hit upgrade, it only has a capacity of 1, which means I can't equip any of my mods. Later on, when I level the weapon up, I'll be able to equip additional mods. The last thing you can use the arsenal for is gear. So right now, I don't really have any gear to equip, but later on, when I gain gear, this is where I put it on. The last and probably most important thing I want to talk to you about is platinum. So as you can see here, you start with 50 platinum just for making an account. Now, if you're like me and you want to go free to play, you want to be very conservative with this platinum. And personally, I recommend you only use it for one thing, and that is weapon and warframe slots. So if you go to the marketplace and you type in slot, it'll bring up all the different kinds of slots you can buy. Right now, we just want to focus on the warframe slots. They cost 20 platinum each. Weapon slots cost 12 platinum for 2 slots. Now, as you can see, when you go to equipment, inventory, and over your warframes, you only start with 2 warframe slots. Anything more than that, you have to pay 20 platinum apiece to get another warframe. Weapons are a little different. You start with 8 slots, and after you finish leveling each weapon, you can then sell it off, especially these starting weapons, considering they're not very good. Later on, you'll have weapons you want to keep, and at that point, you can buy new slots. With warframes, I want to try to never sell a warframe, because they take so long to farm and build, which is why I'm going to be spending my platinum here early. Alright guys, that does it for the first video in this series. I hope if you're new, you found this informative. I know a lot of these systems confused me starting out, and I definitely wasn't able to cover everything in one video. So if you have any other questions, please leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to cover it in a future video. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe for future content.